Us VR enthusiasts have been spoiled recently, haven't we? First Skyrim VR a couple of weeks ago, and then this week, Doom VFR, which Johnny tells me means Doom Very Fun, right? Well, I can confirm that Doom VFR is very fun, right. So sit back, put your feet up on a freshly chainsawed pinky carcass, and have a little look at the 7 ways Doom VFR blew my tiny little mind.
Yeah!
I had no idea Doom VFR supported Sony's AIM controller until the day I downloaded it, but my word, I'm glad it does. For someone who prefers free move rather than teleportation, the AIM controller with its built-in analog sticks is a must-have. Sure, you can free move in Skyrim with your move controllers, but it's rather fiddly, and with the AIM, things like strafing and attacking while backpedaling are as easy as they are on a controller, with the added benefit of being able to free aim your main gun. There is a downside to it though. Using AIM means your grenade arm is attached to your head like some sort of disturbing cybernetic growth. It's relatively inoffensive once you get used to it, but the way it clips through your free aim gun can be a bit of an immersion breaker. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for those thumbsticks though. They make the movement while in combat just so freaking satisfying. This is very similar to a point that I made in my Skyrim VR video, but sod it, I just can't help but admire weaponry in VR, especially when it's weaponry that's been modelled as well as the guns in Doom VFR. Most of the base guns are a normal size, but some of the weapons, like this canoe-sized Gauss cannon, are incredible to look at in VR. Being able to turn them around in your hand and examine them really grounds you in the virtual world, especially if you're using the AIM controller, because then it actually feels like you've got your hand on the grip of the gun. Another thing that blew me away was being able to watch the spent shells fly out as I fired the shotguns and the rifle. This obviously happens in plenty of other non-VR games, but here it lends credence to the solidity of the world, especially as you can watch them fall to the floor and land next to your feet. Seriously, I can almost smell the gunpowder in the air. Ooh, eggy. Now, what if I told you Doom VFR didn't have the BFG in it? That would be a bit of a downer, right? Well, unfortunately it doesn't, so suck it up, kid. What it does have, though, is a BFG grenade launcher, which, to be honest, sounds really dumb. Thankfully it's not, though. It's actually quite awesome. The BFG grenade launcher is found midway through the game, and it replaces your standard grenade launcher, although it looks exactly the same but with a snazzy green paint job. That said, the BFG grenade launcher looks nowhere near as intimidating as the actual BFG does. In fact, it looks rather puny, and I was well on my way to taking the piss out of it for being a small, stupid, pointless addition to the game. Until it got me out of some extreme scrapes by creating some amazing moments of virtual gibbage. Seriously, it might not be the BFG we wanted, but when you're surrounded by angry mancubi, you'll be glad you've got it in your arsenal. During my live stream of Doom VFR, I saw a lot of comments from people who were surprised that Doom VFR allowed free movement. Most of the promotional material for the game featured teleportation as the primary control scheme, and I really think that put a lot of people off. Just the thought of teleporting to move seems completely at odds with the fluidity of movement that Doom players are used to, and to completely replace glory kills with telefragging, the act of teleporting inside stunned enemies to kill them, well, it all sounded a little bit crap. What I didn't expect though was to actually really enjoy the teleporting. You see, Even if you select free move as your control scheme, you're still given the ability to teleport, and you'll actually need to use it to reach certain areas or secrets in the game. Once you've had a bit of practice though, combining free move and teleportation really improves your mobility, and now utilising both of these is my control method of choice. Not only does telefragging turn out to be quite a satisfying alternative to glory kills, but teleporting is also a very useful companion to free move, as it allows you to quickly dodge out of the way of attacks, to put distance between you and your enemies, and to quickly grab healing items and power-ups in the midst of a brutal battle. Think of it a bit like the jump button in standard Doom 2016, and before long you'll be ripping and tearing your way across the arenas like nobody's business.
Oh, a KK demon. Come to daddy.
Doom's bad guys have always been a little on the large size, but holy crap, you've never experienced how truly huge they are until a Keiko demon has tried to bite your face off.
Ah, fuck, that's a big mouth, fuck.
Honestly, seeing it flat like this doesn't do that sight justice. It was like putting my entire head inside the mouth of a hippo. While the imps and the possessed are standard human-sized bad guys, everything else is terrifyingly big. The revenants have always been scary, but now they're so tall, if you stand in front of them, you can look up and put your shotgun under their chins and blow their heads off. The VR seems to have made the Mancubi increase in volume by about 5,000%, and the Barons of Hell, well, just listen to the fear in my voice the first time I had to fight a couple of them.
Oh shit! 2 of them! Should be able to run rings around your enemies. He says, oh! Fuck you! Health is not good. What? Oh, fuck!
Just like in Doom 2016, you'll be able to find cute little Doom Guy dolls hidden in hard-to-reach places throughout the game. These Doom Guy dolls are a little different to the ones you'll find in the standard game though, because each time you discover one of them in VFR, you'll unlock a classic Doom level that you can play through in glorious virtual reality. Now, this might not look all that impressive to someone born after 1995, but I think if you watched my livestream of the game earlier this week, you could probably tell from my little squeals of excitement just how utterly delightful it was to take a step back in time to one of my favourite games from my early teens.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Obviously, the old school graphics on display here are nothing compared to Doom 2016's super slick futuristic hellscapes, and I'm not too sure what enjoyment people who have never played the original would get from these masterclasses in nostalgia, but still, if you played the original games back in the day, this is like walking into a museum. A museum full of crazy monsters that you can shoot in the face with a rocket launcher. That's definitely worth the price of admission in my opinion. And finally, I can't leave before mentioning the Super Shotgun. That classic Doom weapon is even better in VR because now, when you jib the demons with it, you see them rip apart in glorious 3D. Honestly, if going on a rampage with a super shotgun in Doom VFR doesn't make you feel like an unstoppable action hero, well, I'm afraid nothing will. So there we go, those were 7 ways Doom VFR blew my tiny little mind. It's a lot shorter than Skyrim VR, I managed to get through the whole game in a little over 3 hours, but there's a lot of replayability in there, and the production values are incredibly high for a budget-priced game. While I wouldn't say that Doom VFR justifies purchasing a PSVR in the same way that Resident Evil 7 or Skyrim do, I definitely think it should be on your must-buy list if you already own one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you want to see more Doom VFR gameplay, I've done a couple of Let's Plays of the game starting from the very beginning, and those are on screen for you to click on right now. Good jibs!